Good evening, folks, and welcome to United Real Therapy. How are we doing? Sorry, later than scheduled. I apologize, but loads of things to discuss, people. Loads of things to discuss. I don't know how many of you are on Twitter, but you could see, if you checked any of the football news today, Manchester United's finances have been out, and it's been absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Big up to every one of you. There we go. Deadwood FC. I tell us Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire continue to... Well, it is what it is. And Phil Jones on a 4.5 million a year, yet we can't afford to sign anyone in January. Absolute joke. Of course we can. This is Glazeronomics, people. How are we doing? Another late stream. Another late stream tonight. How are we feeling, people? How are you feeling as United fans? Are you feeling good? As a United fan, I'm not feeling good. Other than that, I'm all right. But there we go. 33. The reason why we can't sign anybody in January, people, is because January is what? Dividends. Dividends. Time to pay. It's time for the Glazers to take their little, their pay. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Listen, just to give you guys a chance to kind of like get a sense what's been done to your football club, I'm going to check out some tweets, and then I'm going to have to bring you some and basically expand this shit for you guys, because it's an absolute joke. Absolute joking. Absolute joke. Honestly, it's an absolute joke. What's going on? What's going on at this football club? It's an absolute joke. Basically, the Glazers are took out in so many years. They took out so many billions. They took out so much money. So much money. They took out. It's just incredible. I can't stress it enough. Like how much they've took out of this football club and what they're doing to this football club. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. I don't know about you, but it's going to be very, very interesting. Listen, I'm going to put the link on here. So if anybody wants to jump on and argue with me, especially if you think like the brother, I really wanted him on, but I couldn't make it earlier, people. I had loads to do earlier. But there's the link. If anybody wants to come and chat, I will be going to be sharing stuff about the Glazers. I'll try to bring things about the Glazers and what they're doing to this football club. What they're doing to this football club and tweets and stuff like that. So I will be sharing that in a minute. But if any of you want to come on, more than happy for you to come and jump on. Big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Big up Tom, journalist one. How are we doing, Tom?
All right.
You a bit tired, lad? You a bit sleepy?
Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit.
Quarterly dividends FC knocked you out.
Oh my God.
Have you seen what's going on? Have you seen it?
I've seen the finances. I already told we've already educated people on this though, and nobody believed us. But listen, people, it's in black and white. It's on carbon copied paper now. There is no excuse not to believe anything that this channel produces or says about this ownership. When you have literally the figures and the numbers to hand and on social media. But when you look at the amount of money that these people have put in, we're nearly half a billion or something like that, Nuruddin?
Yeah. So
something like that, half it's like what, 500 million
£1.5 billion Man United need in terms of players to be able to compete, and in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the training ground, in terms of the stadium, maybe having a stadium, women's stadium, and a youth team stadium outside of Old Trafford as well.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is going to cost at least £1.5 billion.
Exactly.
That's what it's going to. But I'm gonna just bring this thing to your attention. This is one of the best tweets that I saw today because this literally sums up Glazeronomics and the Glazer ownership. So let me just get to this, people. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible what's happening to this football club and what these clowns have done to this football club. I can't stress to you enough. Like, I can't stress enough what they've done to this football club and what they're continuing to do to this football club. So let me just share the screen. Big up to every one of you, by the way. Love, light, always. Thank God we've got each other. But I want you guys just to have a look at these figures and let you know. It's a brilliant name, by the way. Glazers piss off. Manchester United financial results. Okay, Manchester United's financial results.
Oh, they've got the percentages as well, yeah.
In black and white, people. Can you all see? So Manchester United financial results for 2022. Commercial revenue, 258 million, up by 11%. Broadcasting, 200 and there he is. Brother, welcome, brother. I'm just going through this, so we'll come to you in a minute. Big up. Big up to the brother, Sean. So here we go.
Hey,
how you doing, brother? I'm just going through this tweet, so just bear with me 1 minute. I hope you're well. Commercial revenue up by 11%. Broadcasting revenue down by 15.7%. Why is that? Because nobody wants to fucking watch this football. Nobody wants to watch shit football, right? Total revenue is 583 million, up by 18%. The net debt is 514.9 million. That is what it is. So let me just get to the tweet. And this here shows clearly. This shows clearly, right? So this shows, yeah. So clearly we can see there, right? I can just bring this up. We can see here 886 million total interest paid to service the debt, right? This is not their money, by the way. This is the fans' money. None of this is their money. It's the fans' money. It's because of our history and what Fergie built on and the success and the worldwide success, what we built on. And then it goes down. 514 million net debt, right? So up by 95 million, okay? Now, 115 million loss for 21 to 21 season, right? And here it says 33.6 million dividends paid, right? This is what you have to get across, people. Now, majority of clubs are not dealing with this. You cannot compete in a league where you've got, well, you used to have Ibrahimovic, obviously. You used to have, you've got the Sheikh Mansour. You've got FSG, who are quite prudent. They don't spend a lot of money. They're quite greedy, actually. But they're not doing this. Liverpool are not in debt. Liverpool are not in debt as a football club. Liverpool are not in debt. So at the end of the day, guys, this is the reasons why. And then you got $1 billion that they have spent. They put the down payment on that. They spent $1 billion and a bit on transfer. And in the last 10 years, we've got absolutely nothing to show for that. We have no team. We've won 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup, and 1 Europa League. Today it came out. We have the highest Premier League wages, the highest, record high. And it is just incredible. So they live in the US. They're not here, so nobody can get at them. Nobody even can get at them in terms of not being violent, but protest them. We had the Sky reporter who went out to Florida and basically couldn't even bloody answer any questions. He just ignored her and got in his Chrysler and just got off. Sean.
I mean, but like, sorry, nerding. Like a lot of these things, like, are scary sounding things. And yesterday you said something about reading the room. So I want to respect the room and acknowledge that, like, as a United fan, I also want the Glazers out. I think the Glazers have poorly managed the club. I would like it if we could get a new owner who, the ideal situation for us would be a sugar daddy situation, kind of like what Chelsea had with Abramovich, or what Man City has, or PSG has. But anything other than that, we have to understand that any new owner would also have, like, if you're buying something, you would want a return on your investment. So we would need to be clear-eyed about who is coming. First of all, how are they financing the purchase? So if United is valued at 4 billion, between 4 billion and 7 billion, how much of that is going to be equity versus how much of that is going to be debt? Because I don't know about you, but I don't know many people walking around with 6 billion dollars worth of pure equity that they just want to invest something. So some of it might be debt, which is how the Glazers were able to finance United. So we might be moving from one kind of like frying pan to fire type of situation. So people need to be clear about it. Second thing I would say is that, like, even if they were to sell, any sale that would happen, because of like between negotiations, due diligence, all that stuff, it would likely take years before between start to finish to close of the sale, when like the keys are actually handed over. And so when I was saying yesterday that I don't care about the Glazers, what I was getting at is that, like, as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing is what's happening on the pitch. Now, I agree that the Glazers impact what is happening on the pitch, but I think there are degrees of separation. So if you were to break it out in terms of percentages, the people who have the most impact on what is going on the pitch are the players and the manager. And that's what I like to spend my energy on.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask you a question? What do you think makes a successful football team? What's the key component? What is the most important thing to having success on the football pitch in terms of a team? For a football club, what's the most what crucial part of the football club that you have to get right if you want to be successful?
No, I would say the structure, and I agree with you. I don't disagree with you in terms of the importance of having a structure.
Yeah, the structure, but if we drill it down into that, it's recruitment. It's your outgoings and incomings. So incomings and outgoings. That's the most crucial part of a football club. Now, but for a decade, Fergie was a genius, right? If you looked at the players, if I get up the players now, right, genuinely, right? If I get up the players, 2009, 2013, Premier League winning squad, and UFC winning squad, right? If I get this up, it's absolutely crazy. If I could show you this,
but like that team wasn't packed with superstars, and I think maybe further along the conversation,
it's not about superstars. It's about the players and what they go to achieve, right? Ferguson did absolutely miracles, right? Absolute miracles with this team in terms of who this team are. Now, recruitment is absolutely key. Let me just get the super chat. Big up Alien Tenno. Glazers will bankrupt with United within 2 to 3 years. I think they're going to do worse. I think they still want to stay on.
Or is it just me?
Can you hear me, guys? Hello? Can you hear me, guys? Mo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Yeah, I think it might be you, bro. I think it might be you. Basically, what they will do, because TV money is going to change. We already have, I think, maybe 8, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or maybe 9 different clubs who are owned by American owners. If they were to get up to 13 in terms of their American ownership, they then would be able to outvote everybody else in the Premier League in terms of the ownership, and they will be able to bring in whatever they want, like half an hour, half times. You know what I mean? You know, all of the BS stuff that goes around with American football, all of that stuff could go in. So the biggest thing for me is that they will take an external investment. They would be like, listen, if you give us half a billion, we'll be able to give you $1 billion in a couple of more years' time, because whether we like it or not, Super League has not died. It's going to come in. They're going to try to make money from football as much as they can. The only reason and why I agree with Sean, is that everybody is in it for
the money.
In it for the money, right? Now, the point what I'm trying to say to you in terms of somebody like Jim Ratcliffe is just like every other billionaire. He stood on some toes, stood on some heads, broken people's arms, broken people's spirit to get the billions. No human being, but that's what people say to me. I'm a billionaire. I'm like, okay, take whoever you want with you, go to an island and go and become a billionaire. You ain't gonna become a billionaire. It's a workforce. It's the roads. It's the infrastructure. Whatever country you're in, you're using to become a billionaire. So this idea of billionaires they're just geniuses or they work harder than anybody else. Nada. The people who got lucky, they invest in certain things. They put a bit effort in, but it's usually extracted from people. Now, so Jim Ratcliffe, I would have in. He's not perfect. He's done some environmental damage. He owns chemical companies, but I would rather take him because he's a fan of Manchester United than take the Glazers. The Glazers, what they've done, Paul, I don't think genuinely people understand. Unless you live in Manchester or you know what's going on, I genuinely don't think that people genuinely understand, because I go to the stadium and I see what's going on in the stadium. I've got friends who work in the training ground, and they tell me how it's falling apart. So to understand in 17 years the lack of the mismanagement, the gross mismanagement of this football club from head to toe is incredible. First, the bankers that they put in charge were not by accident. They didn't just get people. No, J.B. Morgan was the guy Woodward came from. Woodward then bought Richard Arnold and then bought Matt Judge. They then took center stage. Gill knew what was coming. Fergie knew what was coming. They both retired. When did you get the two top people in a football club, the CEO and the manager, both of them to go in the same time? That's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. The CEO,
not really. Now it was a new regime, so
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying to the CEO. So everybody knew what was coming, right? What they've done to this football club, the money they've taken out of this football club is incredible. When they haven't put too much money into their own money, right? So it's not like Manchester. I will not be here. This channel will not exist if the Glazers put people in charge that knew their football. They just hired competent people, because Man United would still be what? Still be competitive on the football pitch. They would make a lot more money. That is the biggest thing. Where is that the lack of?
I just want to clarify again. I just want to clarify again, people that like I'm not in support of the Glazers, but I'm not. I would imagine. I would imagine that like.
I was just trying to make a point about how much damage they've done.
No, but regardless, I would imagine that like they are also aware that the best way to make money or to make the most money as a football club is to win stuff. It's to win trophies, to win games, to win matches, to win the Premier League, to win competitions that the club is in. So they're taking money out in other ways, but I'm pretty sure that they are aware that the best way to make money is to win. And in my opinion, they have tried. They have tried to win. Now they have made wrong decisions.
Okay, tell me about
They have made wrong decisions in their appointments. Appointments of Ed Woodward, appointment of Majority of those people were wrong decisions. But it wasn't for. It's not as if there's a conspiracy of not trying. They have just gone about it poorly.
No. Listen to me. From the way you speak, brother Sean, you work in the finance, yeah? Do you work in finance?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect. Now, perfect. You're an absolutely perfect example. Now, in your workplace, when you have got the CEO who's mismanaging the company, can you please tell the audience how long they last? When the club takes a hit financially and you're not being successful on the football pitch, where that is the only one of the biggest things Man United were famous for, winning and competing. So how long do you let it go? That 1 year is understandable, 2 year is a 3 year, 4 year cycle.
That's what I want to push back on now. The idea that they just let it happen and they let it go, I don't agree. I think they made the wrong decisions. They invested poorly, but they tried to remedy the situation. So it wasn't as if they just gave up on their hands. So no, if you go back in the history, after Fergie left, we appointed Fergie's anointed successor, David Moyes. That was a disaster. You and I, I'm presuming people can disagree about whether he should have been given more time or not. That's fine. They appointed LVG. LVG at the time was a rising star in world, not a rising star, he was an established manager and was thought to be a good appointment at the time. Maybe they didn't get him all the players he wanted, but money was spent. Let's not even talk. Money was spent. Now Guardiola went to City, and then Mourinho came to United. As a trying to recreate the rivalry that was in La Liga as well. Money was spent for Mourinho and on his behalf as well. We can disagree about the players that were bought, and and the tactics that were used by Mourinho and the approach that the club took to get back to successful times. But money was spent and steps were taken. What people are trying to do, and what I find kind of strange, and my issue with this thing is that, like, I feel like the Glazers need better critics. Like they need better criticism, because what we're lobbing at them right now doesn't fly. They have spent money.
Okay.
Now they might not have invested in.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to hold you. And I'm going to pick holes in your argument. They got David Moyes. David Moyes wanted Cruz. He wanted Fabregas. He wanted who else did he want? It was Cruz, Fabregas. There was a couple of other players that we were linked with at that time.
He wanted a lot of players at the time.
Yeah,
and he got Fellaini instead.
Team. So I just want to show people this is the team. Yeah, this is the actual team that you're seeing. I'm gonna name the players. Okay, so I'm gonna name the players who have here. So this is the team, the main squad. So Amos, okay, David De Gea, Andreas Lingard, and the defenders were Botner, Evans, Patrice Evra, Rio Ferdinand, Phil Jones, Michael Keane, Raphael, Chris Smalling.
That was the Premier League winning team.
Maria Vinic, okay. Anderson, Carrick, Cleverly, Darren Fletcher, Giggs, Janusai, Kagawa, Jesse Lingard, Paul Scholes, Antonio Valencia, Ashley Young, and the forwards were Nani, Rooney, Robin van Persie, and Danny Welbeck. Now, if you looked at that team, I'm telling you now, that team with how many aging players? Ferdinand aging, Patrice Evra, maybe 2 years left. Okay, Vidic aging, Carrick coming to the end of his career. Paul Scholes should have retired. Ryan Giggs retired straight away. Darren Fletcher had a problem, illness and stuff like that. It was a year out. Valencia, decent age. Ashley Young, not too old, right? Hernandez,
no, that squad was on its last legs, but it was a Premier League winning squad.
So they give David Moyes the job, and they didn't back him. They bought him on the last day. They bought him, right? This is where your argument falls apart, Brother Paul. Because you said they tried, they backed, they spent money. Okay, this is what I'm going to explain to you. Okay, that squad was on its last legs, right? This squad finished 7th. With Fergie, who's a genius, they go and fight for the title. With David Moyes, they finished 7th, right? This squad needed major surgery. They gave a manager 6-year contract, and in that summer, who did they sign for him? I'll say to you, Fellaini. And in the January, who did they sign? Juan Mata.
Okay, no. So let me push back. Let me push back a bit.
That's not a backing.
Let me push back against. Let me push back. No, I agree with you that that's not backing, but I think as an owner of a business, definitely, and between you and the manager, you have to strike a balance between giving the manager everything he wants. So the manager cannot just come. So no, I'm not saying this is not football manager. The manager cannot just come and say, I want Fabregas, this person, that person. Sign all the best players in the world and then fill my team. You have to strike a balance between that and a reasonable assessment. So I think Moyes deserves some blame because maybe his targets were unrealistic, kind of like Dejong, and they wasted time pursuing unrealistic targets, and they should have put in that structure. I grant you. I am not arguing that they spent money wisely. I am not saying that they are competent. I agree that they are incompetent. I just think the critiques, it should be targeted critiques. I think also it's a matter of like time and effort, like spending our time, talking about the Glazers. I understand that this is like United real therapy army. And I'm one of the therapy army. Sometimes I need the therapy and I come and I get it. Yes, and definitely.
If you watch this channel, we talk about players, we do match previews, we talk about the tactics, how we played, what the manager, we talk about that. But the main goal is always, and I've said it, and I'm still proven right. I said it 8 years ago. Manchester United are not going to win anything in terms of major trophies with this with this football club as far as the Glazers are in charge.
I certainly hope not. I hope you're wrong.
No,
because
I'm not. It's been 8 years, brother. 8 years in counting, and I'm not being wrong.
Can I make
We
a point, guys?
We won. Oh, sorry, somebody's in.
Sorry to interrupt. Big up everybody. What Nudin said, where they didn't invest in the squad with David Moyes. One most important thing as well, they didn't modernize the club as well. When Pep Guardiola and Klopp came in, they modernized the whole football club. With Man United, they still kept the old traditional system, and the Glazers never modernized the football club. And after Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill left, they were doomed. They were doomed because they had no system, no structure, no football IQ people there, and it wasn't a modern football club. And they're still, to this day, they're still playing catch up with the big clubs.
You're preaching to the choir. I don't disagree with any of that. I'm just saying that, like, I hope Tenhag is not looking at the Glazers as an excuse for why he should not perform this season. That's what I'm saying. I hope Marcus Rashford and Anthony Marshall are not thinking that, you know, the Glazers nonsense excuses them from turning up on the pitch. That's my concern.
There's no manager in world football that can win Premier League titles and Champions League titles with these owners. There's no manager out there. It's impossible.
I'm saying I hope you are wrong.
We're not wrong, though. It's been 10 years.
Wrong, because I don't foresee United being sold during this season, and I will not accept that as an excuse for a terrible season.
Yeah, but you can't win a league title this season.
I don't foresee us being sold next season.
It's close to impossible. You can't win a league title.
That's what I'm saying. I hope you're wrong.
No, I get it. I get you're optimistic, and I get it where you're trying to be positive, but we've seen it for 10 years that you can't win a league title and a Champions League, and this ownership is proven. They spent £1.2 billion at the football club. They still couldn't win the Premier League title and the Champions League. It's close to impossible.
I think a couple of things. I think a couple of things have been missing on the football side. Some very important things have been missing on the football side that will not allow me to jump entirely on this bandwagon of just putting it all on the Glazers. I think we've had some managers make some terrible decisions.
So who do you put it on? If we don't put it on the owners, who do you put it on?
Listen, Sean, right? You own a business. Who does the buck stop with? Do you go as a business owner? Right? So the buck, because you're the owner, right? This is your company, right? Your football club. For me, you look in the mirror yourself, the decisions you've made. Not about anybody else, about, this manager. I'll say this to you again. Managers didn't hire themselves. Bankers didn't bring themselves. The players don't buy themselves. The players don't give each other the wages. I'm going to explain something to you. Manchester United, this summer, we sold 2 players for how much? 20-odd million. We can never sell players. We have the highest in the last decade.
We're stuck with some dead weights.
Listen to me. In the last decade, right, 10 years, right, we have the highest wage bill in the Premier League history in the last decade, right? So explain to me how, as the biggest wage, the club that's getting the biggest wages, paying the biggest wages, only won a League Cup, a Europa League, and an FA Cup in the last 10 years.
No. See the thing, because I'm looking at the live chat now on one of my screens on YouTube, but I think clearly people, I'm saying A and people are hearing C. I don't think we're a well-run club. I'm not saying that. I don't think
so how the hell do you expect a manager?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. Listen, do you understand as an organization? I'm sure you work for an organization. For you to optimize the vision and the strategy, to optimize all of that, everybody's got to be looking in the right direction, yes or no?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Now, if you looked at around Europe, in the same time, under Fergie as well, when the top 8 European teams were hoarding all the best players, Ferguson was the highest paid manager in Britain. And what he would say is, there's no value in the market, right? So you actually see under Fergie how many players they bought him. Since they took over, The way they
No,
spent,
but it depends
no,
on
no, no,
but it
no.
depends on what it depends on what I as an owner wants from the club.
Well,
I
this is
think
what
it's
I'm
time
saying
for
to you.
fans to own up to the fact that like the
So
Glazers clearly want something different out of the Manchester United
exactly,
enterprise.
and this is
That's
where
the fans.
your argument goes, where you said they wanted to win. They tried to win. They didn't try to win. You know what they've done? You know what they've done? Let me finish, bro. You know what they've done? The clearest indication, as the evidence suggests, and this is not like, this is the facts. This is not like, oh, two sides there. No, the evidence suggests the only time they've ever acted in terms of change of managers is when the managers have no return to get in top 4. Moyes, 7. So they sacked him 8 months.
No. So why do you think we bought in Jose?
Listen to
why
me.
do you think we bought in Mourinho?
Listen, Van Gaal, right? City finished goal difference. He won the FA Cup, so it's not about trophies with the Glazers. He won the FA Cup because, listen to me, let me finish this point. He won the FA Cup, one of the most traditionally recognized and the oldest cup competition in the world, right? It's better than a League Cup. It has more status than a League Cup than it has on the Europa League, right? He won the FA Cup with City finish on goal difference, right? On goal difference. And they sacked him. They bought in Mourinho. Mourinho won the Europa League.
Why? Why did we bring in Mourinho?
No.
Why did Mourinho come in?
Listen, they bought in Mourinho because they thought they can rekindle, right? So this is the point what I'm trying to say to you. This is where they thought we can rekindle the rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid in Manchester.
I was the one who said that, but Mourinho's selling point was as a winner. Mourinho's selling point was that he was a bona fide winner everywhere he went.
But they didn't do the homework on Jose. You can't just back him one window. You got to back him again and give him full control for 2 years, 3 years at least. Till then, what happens with Jose? He will go intense-wise for 2-3 years. After that, it will all go abysmal. So what they did was the first time, let me finish. The first transfer, he came in, he got Ibrahimovic, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, and if I'm not mistaken, Eric Bailly.
Yeah, that's correct.
4 players. Now, in the January, he was like, I need more quality. In the summer, they didn't back him. The second summer, they didn't back him again, right? Now, the second year, when he was in, especially Los Angeles, I think he was in Los Angeles, right? And a lot of the players were injured, or I think there's been a tournament. And he was like, these youngsters are not going to play. These youngsters, this is not a team. Ed Woodward knows what I want. Right?
But this isn't an ice cream factory. This is not an ice cream factory. Mourinho can't just throw away his toys and claim that he must be given everything he wants, or else he won't succeed.
It's not about ice cream. I'm sorry to say, Shaw, this is where your arguments are falling apart. Because at Inter Milan, Jose came in, was straight away backed. First transfer. Second transfer, backed. The third transfer, backed. Every time he asked for certain players and he got rid of players, they got rid of players for him and they backed him. At Real Madrid was exactly the same. The players that he wanted, the squad that they built together, Real Madrid always spent money anyway because they're running a different model. At the Glazers, this, let me explain to you, this is the pattern. Manchester United go into the Champions League, right? So before Man United are out of the Champions League, yeah, the model is like this. I used to have it. I don't know if somebody in the chat has got it, but please, if you can post it, post it. So the cycle goes like this. Man United in the Champions League, Glazers don't spend money. Man United out of the Champions League, Glazers spend money. Man United back in the Champions League, Glazers don't spend money. Man United out of the Champions League, that's what I'm saying to you. Every manager they sacked, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, David Moyes, they've only sacked them because when they realize they can't make top 4. Why? Because of commercial revenue.
I don't think these managers are entirely innocent in everything that happened. I don't think the players we've had are entirely innocent. That's what I'm saying. It's a matter of energy. So we've established that I don't disagree that the Glazers are not good owners. The Glazers are incompetent. We all agree on that. But I think my energy is far better spent focused on what the manager is doing on the pitch and what the players are doing on the pitch. Now, if a manager is not backed,
But Sean, who's signing these players?
I don't, as far as I know, in United history, I don't think the Glazers just go out signing players without the consent of the manager. It happens once in a while, but I think they work hand in hand.
No. the way it works is Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold, wherever they transfer they got, they bring the players and they have to sign those players off with the Glazers.
Yeah.
So
No,
the
no,
Glazers
but I
sign the
mean,
players off, not the manager.
no,
It's the
but
Glazers
the,
that
the
eventually
analogy,
sign them off.
the
Every
analogy
single player
I
that's
use for
been bought by
United is
Man
that like,
United has been signed off by the owners. Man United, no Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold and whoever the CEO is, they can't go out there and buy players by themselves. It's not. It doesn't work like that. Joe Glazer
so
has to
the
sign it
people they
off.
appointed were bad. I don't disagree with you that Ed Woodward was terrible at running United. I think of United as a big steamroller, a giant ship, huge club. Well, not like any other club in the world. To turn, if you see these big ships, to turn from one
We're not like any other club. We used
starboard
to
to
be like
port,
that, but
it
not
would take a
anymore.
long
The
time.
glamour of United is not there no more. The glamour of United is finishing. Real
It's not
Madrid,
about
Barcelona is
glamour.
gone.
It's not about glamour. Did you see United on this tour? United is United. At least
No,
for now.
no. They
United
don't
is
have the
still
same hype.
United.
They don't have the
See,
same hype
look,
anymore.
I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. Till today, the fan base is huge. Go around the world.
Used to be huge.
United Church, one of
No,
the
no.
biggest
Listen,
clubs in the world. We're
Sean.
not like any
The
other
other
club.
day, I was in central London and I was walking and I saw someone wearing a Man City top and I was shocked. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why is this guy wearing a Man City top? But I'm seeing now a lot of people in London and a lot of casual fans, young kids, they're all wearing City tops.
Yeah, like, I understand what you're saying there. Now I'm looking at it there. I think for me, the least interesting thing anyone can say about United right now, the least interesting thing you can say is that the Glazers are bad. If you say that, I'm like, okay,
No.
okay, like, yeah.
Okay. So this is where you said this is what your other central argument was. I know we agree on the mismanagement because the facts are the facts. Okay, on the whole we agree. What you disagree with or what you think is that the too much focus on the Glazers while we be focusing on the football pitch. And now I'm trying to explain to you how the two go in hand in hand. Now,
no, I don't disagree that they go in hand in hand.
Yeah. Listen,
they go hand in hand. Yes.
Now, the day that the Glazers sacked, when they gave him a 6-year contract without their doing their due diligence, regardless of what Fergie said, when Fergie and Gil go goodbye, the Glazers should have, as owners, should go the list, do their due diligence. They would look at and think, David Moyes, this is what he's done here. He's never won an effing trophy. He's got the chick to come. There's a Fergie. Thank you so much for your advice. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your retirement. But now we're in control of this football club.
I think it's easy to say that after the fact. I think it's easy to say that after the fact.
No, it's not easy to say that.
I think it's easy to say after the fact.
It's not easy to say that. Listen, other big managers have left big football clubs and they've suggested
who is as big as Fergie?
Listen,
who is as big as Fergie at United?
No, listen. You're talking about what's the guy that was there at Bayern Munich? He won so many like European Cups and everything. He won so many league titles. Bayern Munich.
I can't remember. I remember the guy with the grey hair.
Yeah.
My point exactly now. This is my point exactly. You can't remember his name.
No. Because I don't listen. I don't watch German football, but him. If you would ever suggest to Bayern Munich to buy, you know what Bayern Munich model is? Ex-players who know about football are in control. The bankers don't know nothing about football. Bankers ask Fergie. Fergie says them. They didn't do any due diligence. Now, you said to me, the central argument is this. What this is for? Here is the tweet. Here is the statement today. John Murta says, overall, we are ahead of schedule in terms of our recruitment plans as envisaged at the start of this summer. We do not anticipate the same level of activity in future windows. As always, our planning focuses on the summer window. Now, this here, the other day when we were breaking up, after the Sheriff game, they asked Erik Tenhag, what would you be doing? He said, I'm going to be looking at the football structure and we need to be working targets for January. Now, this is why I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to bring it back to football, brother. I'm going to bring it back to football. You tell me if the players on our bench have performed to the levels, to the style of football that Erik Tenhag wants to play.
I would say it's a negotiation. I would say Erik Tenhag would be incredibly naive if he thinks that he would get every single thing that he asks for from the Glazers. I would ask United fans to understand that we would never be the type of club like Chelsea or Madrid or Barca or Man City who buys everyone that they want. We are too much. We are too big as a commercial enterprise to ever be that type of club. So anybody
So
buying United from the
What does that
Glazers
mean?
is
What does that
buying
mean?
it.
Oh,
Huh?
go ahead.
I'm
Sorry,
saying
go.
anyone buying United from the Glazers is buying it not because they love football so much or they love Man United so much. Maybe Jim Ratcliffe, but Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have $6 billion. So anyone buying United right now is buying it because of the commercial viability of the club. So there would always be tension between the commercial part and the football part. The job of
So-
any good manager, which is why I'm hoping that Tenhag is that person, is to find a way to negotiate that balance. Do you understand? There has to be coaching. You have to try and get some you get, some you don't get. You have to earn future things. So Ten Hag, before he can ask for future signings, in my opinion, he has to show that he's able to get something out of the squad that he has been given. And if anything is being unfair,
no, Ten Hag's not a miracle worker though.
he's not. No, he's not.
So what?
But
So
he's
what
a
is
coach.
the okay? So what is the end game? So I don't understand. So they've gone 10. They've gone 10. Okay, I'm gonna pretend not to be a Man United fan. So Man United have gone 10 years without a league title. So what is their plan going? So what is it? So what is Man United's plan? Tell me what is the plan to compete with
It
Real
seems
Madrid,
to me
Barcelona,
it seems to
Bayern
me.
Munich, Chelsea,
Let me
Man
tell
City,
you. Let me
Liverpool.
tell you
What
what
is
it
your
seems to
plan?
me
Tell
like.
me your plan. Your club's plan.
Yeah, no. Let me tell you what it seems to me like the plan is. It seems to me clearly like the plan is another. What do they call it with Solskjaer? Restructure, reinventing the wheel. That's what they're doing with Ten Hag.
Yeah, but
So we're going back to
by the time
basics.
you rebuild the wheel, and
How
by
many
the
times
time
have we
you
done that with
restructure
each
the wheel,
manager?
Man City are ahead. Man City keep on
No.
going
So
ahead. So you're
let me say
playing.
something
It's
else.
like
Let me say something else clearly to the fans and everybody listening now, because clearly many people disagree with me. The United that I want a sustainable club. I don't want a trophy today, fourth position tomorrow. And the only way you build a sustainable club is by structure. You guys talking about structure, develop your academy, have a pipeline of quality
but
players
you've been doing that for
coming
10
through.
years. You've been structuring the whole football club. These Glazers have been structuring the football club for 10 years now.
No, so if we get what all he wants now, what we all want is a sugar daddy. We want an Abramovich we approve of, so not somebody from Saudi Arabia or the Middle East who's chopping up people's bodies or anything like that. We want a nice something with $7 to $10 billion willing to spend the money. That person does not exist. That's what I'm trying to get you people to
I think you know
understand.
what it is. I think now beggars can't be choosers. It's been 10 years without a league title. By the time you
Who
know
is the
it,
beggar here?
it's
The fans are the beggars now. Why should
yeah,
the Glazers
exactly.
sell?
That's what I'm saying though. You can't. It's got to the point yet. It's been 10 years without a league title. I think you're entering
Okay,
now
no. You
Arsenal stages
tell
where
me why.
it's gonna be
If you're the
15
Glazers,
years.
if you're the Glazers, tell me why would you sell? Why would you sell anything right now?
Well, the biggest thing is that they need to come up with $1 billion, $1.5 billion. Because the stadium, they made a promise after the Super League in terms of infrastructure. They made a promise about the training ground. They made a
It's a lot of money
on the stadium. They're the two things that they promised. They can't meet it. The club is already 500 million in debt, nearly 600 million in debt. They can't put anymore. The revenue is down.
It's gone down.
In terms of
It's
In
down.
the last 7 years, now it's gone from 20 to 25% in terms of the commercial because we've been out of the Champions League how many times in the last so many years?
Yeah.
We've not been competing in the Champions League. We've not been a series club. We've not gone to we've not even sniffed a semi-final. We get knocked out in the quarters or we drop down into the Europa League, right? Manchester United is a football club. Something's got to give. So listen to me. In terms of how much money they've got out of the football club, how much the mismanagement, like I said to you, to the levels is gross misconduct. Gross misconduct is an arrestable offense, right? That's the level of mismanagement. It's gross misconduct, right?
Come on.
That's how much what they've done.
We live in a capitalist society.
No, I understand.
Okay, but where are you gonna get? Okay. Nudin said 1.5 billion. I think they're gonna need 2 billion because for that stadium, that stadium is gonna cost
call it
$1 billion.
2.5 billion. Maybe that gets you 20% or 30% of the club. That is not a controlling stake. The Glazers will still call the shots.
Yeah, but they're done. There's no money at United no more. The gravy train is running out now.
the gravy train, Sean, the biggest reason why they wanted Man United, and Woodward was quite honest. You know, Woodward said, it's like a mortgage, but a mortgage that makes you so much money. So the mortgage that was making you so much money is now taking massive losses.
Yes.
Because you never
the house
put
is so
anything in your own
expensive.
money. So the further we are successful, because they can't get the recruitment right, still, this will be another manager who's never going to get back. Because the biggest thing is, do not hire manager. Listen to me. Know who you're hiring. Manager that need modern football is about recruitment. It's about recruitment.
Are we saying Tenhag hasn't been backed?
Listen,
Has Tenhag been backed, in your opinion?
Listen, in this summer, Manchester United wasted 70 odd million in terms of the wastage they did because they didn't go for the players at the right time. For example, Casemiro, Lazaro Martinez, and Anthony, we've overspent 77 million. Because in terms of their value, there is a Swiss-based think tank that looks into the finances of recruitment, and in terms of they use computers to generate to basically calculate the worth.
Get their own valuation.
Yeah,
that's book value. There's a difference between book value and market value. Okay. So the cost of something, the value of a player, is real value, is different from the value in the market.
Yeah, do you know that Manchester United use book value? Do you know that? That's one of the biggest things in Glazonomics. You know that the book value is one of the things. And I only read it. I'm not a financial expert by any means, by absolute any means. I was reading, trying to do research, and I came across it. Man United, the way they sign players, the amount of money they borrow from the banks to sign the players. So the money for Anthony and Casemiro was borrowed from the bank. We already owed, I think, 300 to 400 million from other transfers. So the only time where we played straight over, wired the money, was Harry Maguire and Juan Bissaka. So also, 130 million for those two players. We wired the money. We wired that money. And Leicester used the 85 million, right? 80 million, because 5 million if he was to win the Champions League or to win the league title, they get the other 5 million.
And also, once you borrow that money, that comes with interest. You got what happened? That
money went direct. Now the other part is what they do is they usually every transfer. That's why the net thing don't make sense to me.
Yeah,
because it's the length of the length of the transfer, and also about the wages as well. The wages and the length of the transfer. That is where you pay down season after season. You give here, you give there. Now, Man United can no longer expect to compete forget about winning titles, just for Champions League places. Newcastle are coming, right? Aston Villa, when they get rid of Gerrard, they have serious billionaire backers with them as well, right?
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money and went early in the summer transfer, and Gerrard should be doing a lot better. So Villa, Newcastle, two things. Already Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. Now, 8 teams don't go into 4. I'm sorry to say. Right? 8 teams don't go into. Man City,
and the difference between 4 and 8, if you ask me, has more to do with managing, coaching, and players on the pitch than the manager.
This is where we disagree. This is where we disagree. I'll ask you the question. My last question on this, because I want to go into the most embarrassing saga, the chase of Frankie de Jong, and I want to inform the audience and that it up. But I'll ask this. Do you think Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp would have got Manchester United competing in the last 3 years, 4 years?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. Because in both their first seasons at Liverpool and at City, even though they didn't get to where their usual heights, it was clear that there was something happening at City when Pep came after his first season. And at Liverpool, it was clear that there was a revitalization. There was something different about them. And it was a slope, it was a process. So if you look at the squad between when Guardiola first came and now, lots of players have gone. They replaced everybody. But it was clear that something was happening.
Sure. Can I add one point?
Pep Guardiola, we haven't seen that from any of our managers. No, let him finish.
Whoa, let him finish. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm saying we haven't seen that from any of our managers, and that's what I'm hoping I see from Ten Hag. I want at the end of this season, I actually honestly don't care where we finish. I want to see Ten Hag having implemented the style of football there. That is clear that there is something being done here, and it's now a question of buying players that fit his style. That is what I need to see from any manager that is managing our club and is managing any club. And I'm saying that United, you cannot expect us to compete with City, with Chelsea, and with all these other clubs that are buying players. That is not who we are. We have never been that club, and I'm sorry to break it to United fans, we will never be that club that buys a first team. We have to be able to. Some of my best memories as a United fan, and some of my best memories were waiting a whole year for Rafael and what's the other guy, the two Brazilian brothers. I didn't know them from Adam, but I love that we signed some Brazilian guys from Flamengo or wherever, and I waited for them, and they came and they shined. We went to Champions League semi-finals playing a midfield of Darren Gibson and Anderson. We need to get to a stage where it doesn't matter who or the name of the player. The manager's created a structure and a system that anybody is able to slot in, and that the system takes care of itself, basically. That's how I'm looking at it. So the owners have a role to play in terms of like backing the manager when he says, okay, this guy doesn't fit my style of play, I need this person. That's where the owners come in. But the manager needs to get us from where we are now, the doldrums, the bottom of the barrel, to get us to a place where it's not a question of changing one or two things here and buying players that fit his style. That's how I see it.
Can I add one point, Nudin, about Pep Guardiola? Pep Guardiola would have failed at Man United. As soon as he came in, he would have asked for different players and moved players on, and he would have said, "No, you have to keep these players. We're not selling them because of Glazeronomics." Yeah,
That's
structure is not set up to win.
Listen, I just want to dispel this. Sean is here. He's allowed to have a different opinion from me and Mo and the rest of you. He's not a Glazer supporter. That's
but I like what Sean is saying, though. I get what Sean is saying.
I expect better from you, brother. Seriously, I expect better from you. But go ahead, Mo.
No, what I was saying was, at Man United, yeah, there's certain things you can do. Once Guardiola came in, if he would have come in, yeah, the first season he would have done well. But the second season, he would have said, I want this. I want to move on this. He would have been said, no, you can't move on these players. Like Jose Mourinho. When Mourinho came in, I think it was the second season or third season, he said, look, I want to get rid of Pogba and Martial. I don't think they're going to be well in this team. I want to get rid of them. He said,
I'm glad you brought up Pogba.
Get rid of them. They have to.
I'm glad you brought up those guys, because I think when I was saying that, like, I don't think all the blame goes with the owners. I think the fans have a role to play too, because on this player power thing, this empowerment of players and putting them on the pedestal.
But this player power doesn't exist in Man City, though.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because
the answer is structure. If you have a structure and a philosophy in your football club where no player is bigger than the manager, and if that comes from the owners, then there is no player power.
No,
but because at Man United they've allowed player power to thrive.
I don't think it's just the owners. I firmly believe that United fans are partly responsible for making Pogba feel more powerful than the managers that exist that came throughout the club. I think the fans have a role to play in the way we gassed up, the way we protected, the way we covered for, the way we excused bad behavior. Because it was a choice. We had a choice between Mourinho and Pogba. There was a crossroads that we came to. But fans decided that because Pogba was a World Cup winner, because he's given so that Mourinho wasn't allowed to make a decision as a manager. I don't think that's all on the Glazers. And I'm saying this is a counterfactual of second season, maybe Guardiola will have failed. There's no way to disprove it because it's a counterfactual. I can't argue against a hypothetical situation that hasn't happened. So I'm saying let's get to the end of this season. Let's see. I think and I believe
Mo, let him finish. Go ahead, brother.
I'm saying I think, and what I would like to see from Ten Hag is for him to implement a system so that at the end of this, because he has already done like what Guardiola, he has already benched Maguire. Mm-hmm. He has benched Maguire. He has benched Cristiano Ronaldo.
How old are you, Sean? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. I'm going to set you, this is not seriously out of disrespecting him. 2-3 pieces of homework, hopefully when you get time, just to look it up and research. Fergie came to Man United in 86. He came to a bunch of just competing for FA Cups. Within 4 years, he stripped out the whole squad. 4 seasons, and at that time, Man United yo-yoed. At the lowest we finished was 13th, I think, right? 1 season we finished 9th, right? He literally got rid of it. And then I want you to check out, okay, at Man City especially, they already had a spine because they already got two specialists, head specialist recruitment, director of football, and a head of recruitment from Barcelona, who were at Barcelona, right? Already they were here before he was here. Guardiola. So what they did, he already had the spine. He already had Company, De Bruyne, Aguero, okay? The three spine, right? Everything else, the skeleton, the rest of it was built. He had the skeleton, the bare bones. Everything else was built. And then I want you to check out and how many years it took Liverpool, because Liverpool are more like us, because Liverpool, they didn't. But the amount of players Jurgen Klopp got rid of in the first 2-3 years, or the first 2 seasons. How many players he got rid of? How many players that were bought in for him? And there's a guy called, look it up, his name is Michael Edwards. The point what I'm going to try to make in this argument is that the biggest thing for me is purely the mismanagement. What you see on the football pitch is about your recruitment process. Manchester United, if we are in a court of law, guilty. Managers don't hire themselves.
But we're not now.
Players
So it's
don't
more
hire
complicated
themselves.
than that. It's more complicated than that.
It's not, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with you.
Yeah,
When
you're the owner.
In 10 years of failure, severe failure, and the only thing that you're indicating to the far world, the only facts that you tell, because they don't communicate, the only facts that we see, every time a manager is about to miss out on the top 4, they sack him.
Yes.
Every time a manager's about to miss out on the top 4, they sack him. They sack you. That's the facts that we have to deal with. That's the facts. So the buck stops with them. No, that's where I agree with you. Looking back now, this is where I agree with you. And by the way, I hated Jose football, but I knew, because we could see it from Real Madrid, you could see it from Inter Milan and Chelsea. If you get in Jose Mourinho, must understand, Jose must rule like a dictator or no way. It's either Jose's way or no way, right? Every manager that's come, Van Gaal, I can go into the amount of players he wanted. He went into the press conference yesterday and talked about it, how he so badly he wanted Sadio Mane, how he wanted so many other players, but they kept getting
Neymar.
The fifth or the fourth choice players. I would say this again and again. Managers have to take some of the responsibility, but when you hire managers and then you tie the whole arm, they're proper, whether they're right-handed or left-handed, behind their back, and then you are chipping away at every time when they ask and say, this player, I want to move out. The only manager, actually, the last time Manchester United got rid of players was when? It was actually under Van Gaal. It's the last time Manchester United got rid of players, because in that summer, we got rid of Raphael, Van Persie, Welbeck, Hernandez. Who else did we get rid of?
No, I think like almost one and a half of the squad went.
Johnny Evans.
So 5 players, and then they bought him mediocre players. Now, the biggest thing that he wanted Memphis Depay. Then, because he was going towards at the end of his reign, he was trying to rule iron fist with modern young footballers, and that happened to be difficult. But he is the last successful manager at Man United, because I don't recognize shitty Europa League or the League Cup. I don't, because those 2 trophies for me are Mickey Mouse trophies. FA Cup is something I grew up with, watching and supporting this football club about. But Tom,
see, let me tell you, like, I see it because I have a meeting in like 20 minutes or so, so I'm gonna have to hop off like very soon. But the way I look at it, I think Tenhag would have come into this job with his eyes very open. He's not a child and he's not an idiot. Do you understand? So he will have come into this job with his eyes open, fully, maybe not fully aware, but partially aware to a good extent of what his limitations would be, what the history was, and what to expect. And I'm saying, I, as a United fan, and I have as much right as United fan as anybody else, as a fan, I expect and I would like Ten Hag to earn his salary as a coach, as a manager, and get something out of the squad that he has. So don't tell me you only have 11 players. I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me you only have 11 players and you can't trust the remaining people. You are a fucking coach. So earn your pay.
Good luck.
You understand? Earn your salary.
Good luck on that one. He's not a miracle worker.
John, listen to me. John, before you go, I want to ask you one question. When you have a squad, mishmash of players of 4 managers, right? A mixed match of that's not balanced whatsoever. That's not balanced. Nobody is a genius. He's not Harry Potter. He doesn't pick anything. And I'll ask you the question. Manchester United still need what? We need another creative midfielder, somebody that can carry the ball in the mold of Frankie Dejong, right?
Agreed.
We need a right back. Man United need a right back, right? Manchester United, whether Ronaldo stays or not, we need a striker, right? Striker. There are 3 players. We need, right? I personally think a centre half because of the Harry Maguire and the injuries that are happening.
Yeah, we need a backup centre back. Yeah.
Right? So that is 4 players and a goalkeeper. 5 players. And then this is no, I don't mean to get them all in January. I'm saying in the next 2 windows, in between the January transfer and next season, for Tenhag to have any remnant of a squad that can compete. And then you're telling him to coach players. Listen to me. From now on, let me say, listen, from now on, right, till the end of the season, we're going to be playing 3 games a week. Tell me, how is he gonna get the time on the training ground?
Okay, no. So let me tell you. I say it depends on what your expectations are. So I'm not expecting Tenhag to win the Premier League this season. I'm not expecting him to win.
Nobody's expecting him. Nobody.
Exactly. So I'm saying, all I'm simply saying is that it was no excuse for the first 2 games of the season. You understand? And Tenhag is already taking some steps now with his limitations. So some steps he's taking, for example, he benched Maguire, he benched Lindelof, he benched Luke Shaw, benched Wan-Bissaka. He is taking steps within the squad that he has, and that's what I want to see from him. He has to be able to manage. He's making decisions. So unlike Ole or Ragnick waiting for 90 minutes before he makes a sub, he's making decisions, he's reacting, he's changing the game. That's what I want to see from the manager. Within your limitations, work.
Do you know what my night is? Do you know what my night is? It's like my night is basically I start baking a cake, and I put eggs in there. The noodle comes along and he goes, you know what? I'm gonna put my ingredients in there. Then you come along and I'm gonna put my ingredients in there. Tom comes in and he goes, you know what? I'm gonna put some curry powder in there. Like, what is this?
Listen, I want to hear from Tom. I genuinely want to hear from Tom. Go ahead, Sean, before Tom comes in. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, going with your cake analogy, when Tenhag now comes, his limitation is a cake has to be served in 30 minutes, for example. So what can you do with this cake? Some managers will come and say, nothing I can do. My failure is to be expected. Some people will carve out a portion of the cake. I just want him to do something. Don't tell me that the Glazers have
the only thing I would say to you, by the way, it wasn't the United fans. It was the actual club. It was the actual club that's emboldened the big players. So then they value.
I think the fans. I think the fans too.
No. Especially Pogba.
I think the fans
listen,
too.
I'm gonna send. Listen. Please send me a message on Twitter. Do I follow you back on Twitter? Just tag me in a message, and I'm gonna send you the article. I'm gonna send you. We've already discussed with it in this show. The Adidas. The timing of the Paul Pogba coming to Man United, one of the Adidas ambassadors, and Man United. Paul Pogba was never going to be sold by the Glazers, never, because he was an Adidas. The same way Eric Tenhag wants to get rid of Ronaldo, and that Ronaldo is not being sold because commercial players is the whole philosophy of the Glazers. Tom,
but are you telling me that there's no Ronaldo FC? Is that what you're telling me? There's no toxic.
Listen, everybody knows Ronaldo is not at his height. It's not at his height. Tom, you want to come in?
But there is a Ronaldo FC. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with personal players or their ages or anything like that. The way I look at it is every player has a price tag on their head, not just in football, but in terms of the actual valuation that they bring to a football club. You bring Cristiano Ronaldo to your football club, you double shirt sales within a week. You saw that as soon as he returned to the football club. I think they bought him for nearly £30 million from Juventus. They made about £60 million worldwide branding in shirt sales. That's just how big of a brand when you bring a player in like that is. And I don't want to hear people say that he wasn't brought in as a commercial signing because he was sat in Turin all summer and you could have gone and got him. And we didn't till the last minute. Same thing with Casemiro. Casemiro, love it or hate it, he was not the priority target for this summer. But what we had to revert because Ten Hag couldn't get the main player that he wanted. And it's now all coming out, the truth of what we all knew. That they were chasing down a blind alley for 2-3 months for Frankie Dejong. And he wasn't even going to come anyway. Because he said to them directly, I don't want to come. I want to stay at Barcelona. If that's the case, move on. It's fucking embarrassing. Like Moses said.
No. So Tom, in your mind, do you think that Dejong told the Glazers I wasn't coming since May, and the
He didn't
Glazers
tell
just
the
set up on the
Glazers.
campaign to
His
deceive
agent,
everybody
I know
and
for a
waste
fact,
everybody's time.
his agent, who is Ali Duran, was on the phone to Manchester United and said they have a financial
Yeah.
situation with Barcelona where he's owed £40 million. He won't be leaving until he gets paid that. And why Barcelona stalled on the whole deal. The deal expired by the end of June, so then they would have had to get a new agreement, which Manchester United were never going to do. And this is the thing. But as soon as Plan A is not there, where is the plan B? Where is
But
seriously? Where is the plan B?
we
We've
were
got
told
linked to
that
so many
De Jong
midfielders.
was Ten
Sean,
Hag's number one
you
target
can't
now.
sit
No?
here and say to me you can go from the quality of Frankie De Jong to Rabiot to then Casemiro. What in a line of chain is that in terms of a scouting
I'm
network?
not saying that, but I'm saying that we were told that De Jong was Ten Hag's number one target, and that's why
He
we
was.
spent the whole summer
Can
pursuing
I
him.
just come in now? Right. Well, this week when he was interviewed, Frankie De Jong's words were, "From the beginning of May, I knew I wasn't going anywhere." Now, people, your CEO, Richard Arnold, this is the quote. And I'll keep fucking doing it, and I'll remind people so people understand who you're messing with. Richard Arnold, quote, "Transfer speculation drives high level of interaction within our social media communities. Which player was trending the most, and how bad was, especially on Twitter, was Frankie De Jong's name trending for 3
Everywhere.
months? 3 months.
Wait, now, no, really. Let me understand what you're
told
saying.
you in May-
Are you claiming that like it was a conspiracy just to drive up social media engagement?
Yep.
Because
Of course
as
it
far as
is.
I know,
Of course he was.
If the player said
I
that he
know.
didn't, Sean, if the player said that he didn't want to come at the beginning of June and it's dragged on all the way till the end of August, what were they dragging it on
No,
for?
but you were on the right path before. It seems to me like the agent was misrepresenting the situation. It seems to me also that part of Ten Hag's package when he came was that one of the reasons why, because it was an interview. It wasn't just a Ten Hag interviewed United. United interviewed Ten Hag, and they decided on going. I think one of Ten Hag's selling points was that he was going to be able to bring in some players from either Ajax or from people that he had worked with before in the past. I think De Jong was one of such targets. And it was the reports that we were told during the summer that Ten Hag was focused on De Jong. And that's why I think we're going to give De Jong the Anthony treatment. We're ready to break the bank for him entirely. So somebody lied to somebody somewhere along the line, and we ended up without De Jong. And I'm fine with that.
No, Sean. This is where the mishap is in the understanding. Barcelona Football Club, because he's one of their biggest earners, and it still is now, right? He still is now. Other than release some of the levers that they were doing, they agreed with Man United on the transfer of the player. Now, the player was owed 17 million, but he made his decision in May. He made his decision in May. And that's why now you're calling me, or you're calling us a conspiracy theorist. When the
wasn't Ten Hag on the phone with De Jong every day or something like that?
I'm saying to you, and he still didn't want to come. So listen to me. This is where the difference is, okay? If you look at Timber, right, and a Frankie De Jong, who's more, in terms of the world football, more known? Frankie De Jong than Timber. Man United went for Timber. Man United went for Timber. Timber said, no, thank you. Him and his agent said, nah, thank you. And that was it. Timber then came out and said he had nothing to do with Van Gaal telling me not to go there. That was just a British media invention, okay? Now, Man United swiftly moved on from Timber. Now, when Man United, till the last week, the club were briefing till the last couple of days of the transfer window, even on the last day of the transfer window, they were briefing, saying, oh, Frankie De Jong still possible. We signed Casemiro. It has nothing to do with Casemiro.
They did more than brief now. They did more than brief. They went to Spain. They met with Barcelona. It was a serious transfer negotiation that went on
because
now.
they agreed, listen to me, because they went about the wrong way. And they let the speculations roll on, because when you listen, the first thing you do in all transfers, the first and foremost thing you do, you go through third-party intermediaries to find out if the player is interested in coming to your football.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona felt they could push. I think Barcelona felt they could push De Jong out.
Listen, no, the first thing you do, right, is that's what.
And they tried to. They tried to push De Jong out also.
No. Forget about in Barcelona. Forget about the club where he's at. I'm talking about the
you
player.
can't now because that was the negotiation that went on. I think Barcelona felt.
But
I think Barcelona felt they could chase the young guy.
Listen to me. What I'm telling you is how it usually works. What I'm telling you is how it usually works. If Man United went through third party intermediaries to find out if Timber was interested in coming to Man United. Somehow, somewhere, Timber was like, nah, I don't want to come to Man United. Right? Man United done dusted. Now, Man United went to Barcelona. Barcelona said, hey, that Frankie de Jong is a higher paid player. We're in financial difficulties. We're going. Man United never made a phone call to Frankie de Jong.
Wait. But our understanding was that at the time was that de Jong was trying to get the 17 million pounds that he was owed from Barcelona.
No, that came
and
out.
That once
listen, that came out months later. From May, he said no. Him and his partner, and I was one of the people who was totally wrong because I thought my football team would do what football teams do is check with the player first. That's what the first thing they would do. They would speak to the player first through intermediaries, okay, because they can't talk to him directly. They have to do, it's called tapping up. You can get in trouble for that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the first thing you do. Then you find out, right? If they, through the third intermediaries, they would find out, oh, actually, guys, I might want to come, but I'm owed this money. No, Man United didn't even know that it was owed 17 million. That came out 3 weeks to go till a transfer window closes. 4 weeks to go. That's when the things came out because Barcelona were being secretive while they were trying to negotiate with other players like Dembele and all the other players like PK and stuff like that, right? That how much they owed this guy because so many people. Now, a journalist, Romeo, whatever, got the most amount of Twitch viewers. He had half of the fan base in globally, all of them learning Spanish, fucking Google translating articles and all sorts. It was the whole thing was all about clickbait because what did it do to the fan base? It gave the fan base up, oh, Frankie de Jong. If everybody remembers my first tweet about Frankie de Jong, I was like, why would Frankie de Jong want to come to a club that is on a rebuild again, the fourth rebuild in 10 years, right? That's nowhere near going to win any types of trophies, compete for big trophies, leave Barcelona at that and come to Man United. People, Twitter came for me. Yeah, no, negative. Yes, my first thing stood. But I bought it because I thought my football club has already checked in with the player and understood that the player was interested.
See, learning. I have to.
They let the
hop off now.
roll on.
I have to hop off now. But my last word. My last word would be: believe it or not, I also am with you. I didn't think Dejong was going to come in the first place. I felt like he was lying. But my final word would be: I think as people generally, usually, we like to often create narratives that validate our pre-existing notions. I think you should be skeptical of any narrative you come up with that fits neatly into anything you a priori believe. So if you believe that the Glazers are incompetent and this thing, and if your explanation without the facts, I'm just going to say this and hop off.
Is this a fact? Yes or no? Is this a fact? The quote that I've got here: transfer speculation drive.
You're linking it to Dejong.
Media communities. Yes,
you're linking it to Dejong. No, I agree with that, and that is normal because it's a business. It's not a charity.
But you got put. You know what a football club. You know what? Do you see Liverpool having speculations like this? Do you see Man City? They get the players. They shush. You don't even know they're getting the player. You don't even know they're getting the player. They go bam.
But we all know.
For example, Diego Jota from Wolverhampton to Liverpool. 2 days before, third day, boom, done.
No other club is as talked about as Manchester United. I love that about. We are the club. Everybody.
Liverpool, in terms of success, are bigger than Manchester United. It hurts me to say it. They are. They've even surpassed us in terms of trophies that they've won.
On paper, yes, but in terms of like media recognition, global recognition, all that, United is bigger than all of that.
But that doesn't win trophies, though. But that doesn't
no.
How long am I going to be big if we don't start being successful on the football pitch? How long do you think?
I just want to say that like this was great. I have to hop off now. I have another call. Therapy Army, it was always fun. I like hanging out with you guys and everything. And next time you're live,
Pleasure.
I'll try to hop on. And good luck to
Pleasure,
everyone,
brother.
man.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Love. Take care. Thank you for giving us the time, brother. Big up to Sean. He has a point of view, people. We're not here to silence anybody. We debate the arguments. That's what we do.
Nuri,
But go
can I
ahead,
just add
man.
one point?
Yes, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, speculation and look, being worldwide and being social media is big, but that goes in hand with winning trophies in Champions League. As I said, because they would not win no more Champions League and Premier League, no one's talking about them that much these days no more. Like, if you look at Man United now, all they do is talk about the past. But if you look at the MUTV and Twitter, they're always tweeting about the past. About 99 and 2008. They've been non-existent since 2012. So, like, for me, it's the Frankie de Jong deal sums up Man United. It's embarrassing. It's a shambles of a player that didn't want to come to the football club, and
We stalked him.
you stalked
We
him, yeah, and he still
literally
didn't want to
stalked
come.
him.
And apparently, what I've been hearing is they're gonna go back for him next summer again.
No. F that. Absolute F that.
If they do that, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Listen, I'm gonna say to Jarvis, right. The level of his speculation Liverpool have, and you know what? That was quickly over and done with. Do you know why? Because the asking price that had Liverpool were never going to pay that money to RP Leipzig, and that's why he went to Chelsea. It wasn't that long. Let me just say this. Big up to Augustino. Big up to Augustino. Sean reminds me, no, brother, he's just got a different opinion. That's all it is. We have to respect everybody. Your opinion, if nobody agrees with us, right, we have to respect them. He argued with his point, and all we do is get his arguments and take it apart. And I genuinely hope, with a lot of the things what you guys were saying, was also, I kept sharing your, whatever you were writing, on the screen as well. We took apart a lot of these arguments. I understand, because for certain Man United football fans, right, it's very difficult to only be thinking about Glazers. Here, that's why this channel is not that big. We don't get that horrendous views. We don't have 13,000 or 20,000 followers, because we don't do clickbait. We talk about the substantial stuff that we dig hard at, the things that matter at this football club, and it's mainly the Glazer ownership of this football club. And things I've said and things that we've predicted as a community have come to light. Things that we've predicted since we've been on here has come to light. And I'm saying, and I'll make one prediction here. Newcastle United, if Glazers still are in Man United, Newcastle will challenge for the league title way before we do.
Yeah, I think what Newcastle are trying to do, Nudin, is
they
follow the Man City. The Man City plan was slowly.
Yeah,
and they bought Isaac.
They're shorting out the infrastructure. Have you seen the plans they have for the new stadium and training ground?
Brilliant. And also, they bought Alexander Isaac. And that is not. It's a good, very, very good signing. It's a statement signing where they've said, like, we're buying big players, but we're gonna do it slowly. Give it about three to 4 years, they'll be in the top four, guaranteed. Because they're gonna spend money, Nudin. You know they're gonna spend money, and they're gonna have the infrastructure. I see them challenging eventually City. I'm telling you, because they got the money. And if you got the money, and if you put the infrastructure in, what's there to stop you? Nothing.
Listen, I'll say this and I'll say it again simple. Jarvis, De Jong, we ignored as a fan base. We ignored everybody who was telling us from day one he does not want to leave Barcelona. He does not want to leave Barcelona because we thought our football club has already done his due diligence. So Frankie de Jong now would be absolutely, he's not lying. He never wanted to come. He's come out on plain sight and said, he didn't say he didn't want to come in June. He didn't say he wanted to come in July. He didn't say I wanted to come in the September, just the September the 1st. He said in May. I'm sorry. It's the biggest L we will ever have to take in this. It's
and you went to Barcelona.
Embarrassment. No, this one, there was, when he said no smoke without fire. No, the only smoke with fire was that Barcelona wanted to get rid of him.
That's it.
And we agreed. But what we should have done is check with the player first to see if he wanted to come, and he never wanted to come.
This is
But what happened is that we all thought he must be speaking to Tenhag. That no, he wasn't.
he didn't want to come. We should
He
have.
did not want to come, full stop. And there
Literally.
were people that were telling us, and we were all like, nah, stop chatting shit. That's just anti-Man United. That's anti-Man United chatter. No, he did not want to come. He didn't. Sorry.
We should have moved on there and then. But the biggest L, Nuruddin, the biggest L is our chief executive and sporting director flying to Barcelona
Twice.
to get the to get the deal done and coming back empty-handed.
They didn't even bring back, you know, that nice cologne you get. From,
Nothing.
You know, like
No
the nice
duty-free,
cologne
nothing.
you get.
Empty-handed.
You know, tax-free stuff that you get from the airport, or that kind of sweet that you get, the kind of biscuits, Spanish biscuits that you get, or
it's the worst. I've seen a lot of transfer sagas, but this one is the most embarrassing transfer saga there is. They flew to Barcelona, and they still couldn't get the deal done.
Listen, Murta was having lunch in Barcelona and in Turin as well. He flew to Turin as well, came back empty-handed.
And then Arnautovic, you remember we were living with Arnautovic, and then it became the transfer window was getting pear-shaped, and they were linked with Arnautovic, Rabiot. Where was the plan? There is no plan at Man United, and people say, it's the managers have to do better and the players. I'm gonna say it right now, Nuruddin. Tenhag is not a miracle worker.
He's not
a miracle worker, and eventually he'll do good. However, by 18 months he'll be gone.
Yeah. If the Glazers still here, yeah, he would.
Yeah, he'll be gone, Nuruddin, and he'll be back to cycle number 1. I mean, Man United fans, even me, we have to ask ourselves, how long can this continue for without a Premier League and Champions League title? What is the ambition?
We have to compete first. Not even to win them yet. We're not even competing to get anywhere near. The closest we've come to a Premier League finish was like 13 points behind City on the Ollie. During the lockdown, which was
lockdown. Yeah, we were, and then he came out and said we were never favourites or something like that. All that rubbish.
We fumbled. Listen to me. Big up to every one of you. Just please know this: when people go, they want a divorce. What's happening on the football pitch? What's going on behind the scenes? If your football structure is not right, you ain't competing for big trophies. Exactly. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry. And I've set Sean homework. I said, look, check how many players Fergie replaced in his first couple of years in Man United. And this was the 80s, remember? And how many players that Klopp replaced at Liverpool, right? How many players Pep Guardiola replaced? And at Man United, none of them. Fergie now will not be able to compete with the Glazers. No effing way would he. If we had Fergie now, right, a Fergie-like figure, no way.
When Ralph Rangnick came in last season, he came in his first training session. This was his first couple of training sessions. He goes, what the hell is this? I don't understand this. He goes, this is chaos at Man United. And then he came and said where the biggest damning comment was, Nuruddin, he goes, this isn't cosmetic surgery. This is major open heart surgery. He said they're about 6 years behind City and Liverpool. I think they're about 8 to 9 years behind City and Liverpool. But I
said that a long time ago. I said it a long time ago. I said it with this ownership. We are way behind. But you know what? It's not sexy to talk about the Glazers, isn't it? Because a lot of fans feel like Sean. That's why it was important to have the brother back on and to express it, because a lot of fans feel exactly the same way as him. Because it's too difficult to get into the nitty and gritty of who owns your football club and what their purpose is and what are they doing. And when I post that, he says to me, "Oh, that's because we're..." No. Big football clubs actually curb. They keep everything secret. They don't like transfer speculation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's bringing their club into disrepute. Because we are the biggest. The Glazers have turned us into the biggest laughing joke when it comes to agents and sporting directors and other football clubs. Everybody knows we pay.
I mean, you're telling me, Nuruddin, a big, massive, multi-billion-pound football club that you don't have protocols or secrecy, like for certain information to be leaked.
I actually think we actually go to the press and go,
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
yeah, we want to buy this player. We're interested in these players.
Nuno, I
So
was
that
gonna
it
ask you.
drives interaction.
I want you
It
to answer
drives
this question.
interaction.
Do you think we're at a stage, or do you think now where we could see a possible takeover bid? Not takeover bid, but we could see potential new owners coming in. Not like the Glazers going out, but maybe another partner coming in, like a consortium or something like that.
Now,
Eventually moving them out.
listen. We don't need consortium, bro. We don't. Unless you're going to take over the football club. Unless 26% ain't doing jack. They ain't doing jack with 26%. You're not. You're not
What they
making.
need, I think.
Listen to me. The Glazers are still in charge. Manchester United needs to be sold. So we need a consortium that's gonna take full control.
Take over eventually.
And somebody with a lot of money behind that consortium that can come out and go, it's me that's behind this. It's me. And we're not going to get that.
I think the best thing now for Man United as a football club is whoever comes in, eventually it's like a handover, Nudin. So, okay, fine. You come in, you buy the 26%, and eventually the Glazers move on. Like, eventually you do it for the season or a couple of years. You structure a deal where, okay, I'm going to pay this, and you eventually move them on. Because at the moment, every single game, they have anti-Glazer chants, and that is picked up on TV worldwide, and that is very toxic.
That's why they need
to move on.
Listen, that's why for the first time, like I said last night, they're literally silencing fans and taking banners and everything. But guys, listen, we've gone on for 1 hour and 25 minutes. It's a long show, but I hope you enjoyed it. There's 146 of you still here. There was nearly 170 of you at one time. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Become part of the community. So please share the video as well. And win, lose, or draw, whether we sign players or we don't sign players. Glazers out, bankers out. You can follow Mo. What's your handle on Mo? Oh, you're not on Twitter anymore. You've been banned.
You know what, Nudin? I can't wait to the day that they leave. It's going to be nuts because it's not going to be no more Glazers out. That's going to be bankers out. It's going to be... I don't know how the fans are going to realize it, but we're
having a party. I'm throwing a party.
Honestly,
don't care.
like, it's going to be a meltdown.
I'm going to party. When the Glazers go, I'm going to party for a week. I don't care.
They should just... You know what it is? They should just leave, man. Like, because end of the day, you've made your money. Like, you bought the club on debt. You're gonna make 3 to 4 billion. Why not just sell up and leave now? And you've made your money. Go, leave.
Listen, it's simple. Listen, at the end of the day, it's simple. But big up to everybody. Please make sure you follow Tom Journalist 1 on Twitter. And make sure you check out Sean. I forgot his surname. What's his surname? My brain tonight.
I forgot. Can't remember.
Yeah, but you can follow Sean. You can find him on Twitter as well. But big up to every one of you. Like we say, win, lose, or draw. Whether
Glazers
we buy or we don't buy, Glazers and bankers must go.
Go.
Take care, people. Peace, love, and light. Stay where you are, Mo. Stay where you are. Don't you dare go anywhere. Peace, people. Take care.